Hi, welcome back to Soul Talk. This is Dr. Stephanie Johnson and Jessica, and we are here every week sharing raw conversations that we don't typically have with other folks, just being real and sharing what our thoughts are about the things that we like to talk about. So, I'm Dr. Stephanie. I am an acupuncturist, a mind body coach. I'm also the creator of the Soul Wise Method. And this is Jessica, my colleague, who is a master Reiki master, as well as a budding entrepreneur. So, each week we come here for raw, real, honest conversations. And each week we try to build on what we talked about previously. And sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. But one of the things that we both love to talk about is energy, and how, what do we even mean when we talk about energy, and we're going to talk about that because that's one of the biggest questions I get with the clients that I work with, because I throw the word energy around all the time, and people who are in my immediate tribe understand it, but if I'm out in the wild and I say that, people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, hello Stephanie. Oh man, I just love it when we have our chats. Like it's something I look forward to all the time. So, yay. Um yeah, I mean, we thought when we were talking about this, we were like, you know, well, there's so many different topics to discuss and things that are, that we both had question marks on in our personal life journeys. And I mean, great job bringing this topic up because I feel this is really starting at the basic, right? It's starting at the foundation of all the stuff we talk about. So when I was considering it, it's like, okay, as a semi lay person, like how would I define that? Like you said, out in the wild. How do I
Yeah.
define it? And I don't even know that I ever honestly have had a good answer to it, right? So thanks so much for the opportunity to learn and grow. As I think about energy, energy is easily put, it's information. It is movement. It is something that is always present. Um, it's never created or destroyed, but it is a creator and a destroyer. Let me think. Like I did a bunch of notes, guys. Like I'm so studious. I love a good note sesh. um, let's see. But as I was doing research, what I did recognize, especially in, let's go ahead and define it first before and I found this definition and I think it's really great. So let me share it. Um, Energy is the quality of aliveness, the dynamic, felt, and measurable capacity of a living system to be present, to move, to affect, and be affected by what surrounds it. And I think even though there's question marks everywhere, I still think that that's somewhat of a solid start. What do you think, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think that it is a great solid start. And one of the things that has been coming to me a lot, as an acupuncturist, I'm moving energy. In Chinese medicine, we say it's the qi, and you'll see it as qi or chi. Qi is our vital life force. And then if you take our vital life force, energy force within our body, and then we also look at it from a more, I'll say, scientific, from a physics perspective or a quantum physics perspective, then they talk about we're all energy. And if you think about when someone has a heart attack, for instance, what is the first thing that they get? They get the paddles, and it's an electrical current energy that goes through the paddles to then shock us back alive, right? To wake up the heart. And that's really got me thinking about, like, when we talk about energy, we need an electrical impulse in order to energize us, right? And so I don't know, to me that like often like blows my mind because we don't often think about everything is energy. Whether we have this cup, which was created by some sort of energetic force and pressure, right? And we're like, oh no, it's solid. It's not the same as me and you. And yet it is still a form of energy. And so, what does it even mean? And I think the best way that I have learned to understand energy, and for me, is in the presence of other people. And I think the best example is, there are two of them. One, when someone is super, super, super angry and frustrated, like you can feel that energy radiating off of them, right? You just are like, whoa, that's explosive. I gotta like step away. Or when someone is like in the deep throes of grief, they've lost someone very close to them, that energy's, so the angry is really high energy, right? And then someone who's in the throes of grief is this really low, heavy, like, woo, I'm going to go down to the ground energy. So I think that when we look at it from sort of that emotional standpoint, I think it makes it easier for people to wrap their heads around it from that perspective. And I do know that, there are some people who are like, yeah, I don't really get angry and I don't feel grief, so I don't know about the emotion. However, if you can step back and observe what those two extreme expressions look like, I think that's like your entry point into beginning to understand what energy is. Do you find that to be true for you?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And, to just point on two different things that you talked about, which I absolutely agree with, is that emotions. I mean, that was the easiest way to remember is like energy plus motion equals emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Right.
like energy.
E-motion.
Yeah.
Right? Motion is a part of it. It's creating
Yeah.
movement.
Because when energy, whether it is a high energy or low energy, hits our body system, that creates motion within the system, right? And the big one is that I think also is a really easy way for me, for anyone to understand what energy actually is. Well, not is, but it affects our nervous system. We know now it affects our immune systems. It affects our emotional body. It affects, like you said, with the defibrillator, it affects all systems of the body. Our body does not live without energy. Neither does water, right? Neither does air, fire, all of the different elements which are in the Chinese medicine theory, but also completely ancient wisdom. And it is still so very relevant, right? To know that energy, it makes all of that possible. Energy makes literally our universe, our solar system. It makes it possible that the earth circles continuously around the sun and the moon around, back and forth of the earth. So those two things I wanted to bring up is to bringing in, or maybe grounding in, that every system in our body requires this force. I mean, and chi, as you said, Star Wars, it is the Force, simply put, right? May the Force be with you and also with you.
But I think that also goes back to when you talk about like within the body, like it just brought up for me to think about like, when you're in the hospital, what do? They hook you up to monitor your heartbeat, right? And then you see it going up and down, and people are like, oh, it should always stay the same, right? But in reality, a healthy heart is going to jump up and down, not excessively, right? But when you're excited, it should go up. When you're calmer, it should go down. So there is going to be variability. That's why when you flatline, it's bad, because you don't want it to flatline. You need the energetic variability of the motion. And that's why it's important, even when we think about the energy of our emotions and how we engage with other people, it is keeping that motion going. And when I think about, like, from a lived experience, I have two examples. One, think about, like, when you're in a discussion with someone. Usually, I'm going to point out a conflict, because if someone's in a conflict and it's a little bit more heated, uh, I I think that can be an easier one for people to sort of grasp. But have you ever been in a conflict and someone's like, well, you did this and you did that, and then you're like, well, excuse me, and you start to match that energy, okay? And then that energy, if you observe yourself or you've observed other people, when people match that same intensity, then that intensity keeps rising. Why? Because you're literally feeding the fuel. And usually one person within that relationship or that discussion is kind of the driving force, looking for more fuel to keep, I'm going to say, the drama rising, right? Or that's another example, is somebody, do you know someone in your life who is that drama queen? They love the drama, right? And they suck all the life force energy out of you. Or you go visit someone and you're like, why is it every time I leave there, I'm so tired? And I call those energy vampires, because they don't have their own life force. So they need other people, and they just consume and take our energy. And they're like, well, how do they take it? Sometimes you're not aware of it, because, and later we'll talk about, like, how do you protect your energy. But a lot of times we're open to people, right? We want connection, we want partnership, we want community, we want to be with folks, and we don't even realize that other people are literally siphoning the energy from us like gas, correct? And they're just pulling it out. So one of the things that I've learned, if someone is, really upset, and you can see their anger is going higher, or they're really frustrated, I typically say, oh, I see that you're really angry. Wow, that must be really upsetting for you. And they're like, and I don't match them, I don't go with them, I just say, that must be really hard. Is there something I can do to help you? And it can really diffuse it. So if you don't match the same energy, then it completely diffuses the situation, because the only way for, say, that angry, frustrated, customer, parent, or somebody else, is to keep rising if you keep feeding it, right? So if you change the narrative, you change the energy that you're feeding it, it throws off and disrupts the electrical sensations and the electrical messages that are being sent to each other. So, those are all sort of different scenarios that we all find ourselves in. And I know, there are days that I don't have, as much chi and energy. So, like, for me today, I told Jessica earlier, so personally, today is actually a harder day for me. I woke up 4 a.m. with a really blazing migraine. And normally I try not to take any medicine for it, but I was like, I have a full day. I want to do this podcast. I'm going to take some medicine. A couple hours later, it was still there, so I took another one. So my energy's a little bit lower than normal for me today. And you know what? It's okay. It's all right. Because I think the important part is that sometimes, even when it's low, you still show up, right? And you engage wherever you're present at that moment. And because that's how we live life. And sometimes we got to show up for life in order to enjoy life. However, we do get to choose how we're going to engage with somebody who then comes back and is annoyed. So today my energy's low. When I went in to go get, I was driving, and part of the way to my office, I went a different way that had multiple stop signs, okay? And it was my turn to go, and so I went. Well, this lady comes back, and I can see behind me that she's in a rush. She is frustrated. She has a child in the car with her. And I made the assumption, oh, she's trying to get her kid to work. To school. She's running late. She's frustrated because things aren't moving fast enough. And then lo and behold, you know what happened? There's a crossing, a crosswalk. And everyone from the train came off of the train and started walking across in front of us. And I would just look back, and she's like, and I could just feel her energy. And so I wasn't in an interaction with her. We were in separate cars, but I could feel that
Yeah.
energy coming at me. And so one of the things that I often do is this, okay? I'm not having direct interaction, but her energy is now affecting me. And I'm
Mhm.
already down here, okay? Like lower, right? So what I do in those situations, I just close my eyes because I could, because I was at a stop sign waiting for the people to cross, and I just said, message received, return back to sender. And I was like, send that all back to her. I don't need that. No, thank you. Message received, return to sender. It's
Mm.
such a powerful like tool to use. And my husband, my first husband, um, and even though I'm talking forever right now, but he was somebody who would project a lot onto me and put a lot of blame about multiple things. And I used to take it and I would accept it. And I would think, oh, what did I do wrong? How can I be better? How can I improve? But I accepted all that energy that he was dumping onto me. That was his stuff to work through. Once I finally acknowledged and realized, oh, this isn't my stuff, when he would start speaking, I wouldn't engage. I would just in my mind being saying, message received, return back to sender. And over time, because I kept sending it back, and sometimes I'd be like, send it back tenfold. Sucker, you can take it all. That's my pettiness in me. Sometimes we all can be petty. Anyway, but what I noticed is that he would be like, what's, I don't understand what's going on. Like, she used to take it and I could dump it. But now, like, something's coming back. So anyway, that's one of my practices that I recommend for people. Message received, return to sender with love. Sending that shit back.
Hey, that is awesome. That is fantastic. And ever since you taught me that your process, girl, I've been doing it too. And just as a synchronicity, it was maybe like, I don't know, a few days after we had our discussion, you're like, this is what I do. And I'm sorry, you didn't sound like that. That's just me.
No, but I can do that. I was like, this is what I do.
That's what
Hello.
I
I
do.
totally would do that. I think you do a good imitation.
Thanks. But what I was it was a short, doing my just having a little entertainment to myself on my phone, and it was a very cute video of this white American guy. His point being, these are the different body signals. This is how to translate my Nigerian wife's language. Okay. And she's right here behind him. So she's like, let's see what he's going to do. And he goes through some different couple things. And then he did this. He goes, when I see my wife do this, and I loved this because it was so
It's like,
beautiful and then
oops.
push, because you're literally cleaning off your
Mm-hmm.
entire crown and you're just like, nope, this is not here. And I was just like, oh, snap. Like, I love that the two came together at the same time. That was like, use your body, use your intention, and use your energy to clear your space. And it was just very beautiful. I liked that. But we digress. Yes, definitely this technique does work. I can say personally, having used it as well. I know that we talk a lot, well, at least I know I bring it up, about my passion as a science, or I should say, as a citizen scientist. I am such a curious, mind that in the age of higher education, like college and high school, I had no care to take a biology, do a biology degree or anything like that. Okay. But I love to experiment. So I wanted to bring up, just as a recommendation, as we're talking about this, because of course, everything happens in divine timing. I haven't picked this book up in a very long time. And something yesterday, it was almost like it fell out of my bookshelf. And it was like, here, this is what you need. And I was like, okay. So we were talking earlier, and you have read this book as well. This book is called E Squared, and it is by the author is Pam Grout. Um, the 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. And I picked this book up from Thrift Books. Yay, supporting thrift books as you can. Thrift Books a couple years ago. And this was really when I was starting to remember my personal spirituality. And I did a couple of these experiments, and it incredibly, like, it's like it shockingly, but not shockingly at all, completely worked out, you know? So this, I can't recommend this book enough. If anybody out there is there, they got their, their science badge too, and they're curious about it. I really want to make one. Maybe I'll make a citizen scientist badge, and I can wear it all the time because that'd be so exciting. Because I feel like I love our conversations, and our whole point of doing this is to have just a comfortable, open, sit down, honest, truthful, deep conversation with a friend, right? And I hope that anybody watching this right now is feeling that way, because I'll send you a big old virtual hug. Ooh, yeah. So, but I think it's also important because we can listen to anybody talk about anything for literally the entire day. It doesn't matter. Please believe I've done it. Okay. But I want this to at least be useful, something take home that you can do. What do you say since you haven't read this in a while, Stephanie, and neither have I, what do you say that we pick like 2 experiments? Because there are 9, and this does say, I think it takes like 21 days or 31 days.
Or 30 years. I can't remember. Yeah.
38
anyway.
Something. She sets it out. Oh yeah. For the next 21 days, roughly the time it takes to do the experiment in this book, you have the rare opportunity to develop a conscious relationship with energy. So I think that, I'm down. I need a review. I need a refresh, I mean, I know that I'm seeing synchronicities all the time. And like a lot of times, here's a very simple one that I do, and without even recognizing it anymore. But I think I've been doing it for years. So I probably got it from this. But we have, I'm sure as everybody has in their drawers of silverware, you've got like your one favorite spoon, or like your one favorite tool that you're going to use.
Or your favorite mug.
Favorite cup. Okay. Cups are a little bit different because spoons get taken out and they get thrown in and you don't know what's going on. I have my one favorite little spoon that I love to eat my ice cream with. And when that spoon is gone, which by the way, came from Thai Airways, anyone? They actually do silverware. Okay, y'all. That was shout out to Thai Airways for keeping it classy. So I was like, I used to get so mad. The energy would be fully affected if my favorite spoon was already in the dirty dishes, or I couldn't find it, or somebody's used it and just tossed it like it wasn't some sort of magical spoon. Well, so as a test, this is what I started doing. And I started saying, even before I would I'd pull the ice cream out of the fridge or the freezer, I'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if my favorite spoon was clean and in the drawer? Wouldn't that be so nice? And I started saying this, and then the Beach Boys, you know that song. Wouldn't it be nice if we could wake up? And that it would be that tone in that song that would just run in my head. And for the most part, it's like a 98% success rate that I am getting my favorite spoon, and I'm not pulling it out and washing it. It is literally in the drawer. So there's a fun, simple, this is what energy is. Energy is our thoughts. Energy is our intention. Energy can be sent, can be received, can be shut down, can be separated from, we both are in the energy healing world. And so that's a whole nother chat that I can't wait to get to. But yeah, anyway.
So you remind me with the spoon, one of the things, and I have been doing this for years, and people often will say, how in the, you always get a parking spot. So whenever I drive like into a space where there's going to be limited parking, I always go, oh parking gods, my spot is open. Oh parking gods, my spot is open. And then a bit, bam. And people are like, ah! And they're like, there's nowhere going to find parking. I was like, oh, the parking gods are with us.
Yes.
Don't you worry. And with that said, my sister, I call her, she is the, her friends call her the, what is the word? I'm blanking on it, but she gets free tickets all the time to go to these incredible shows. She lives outside of San Francisco and Santa Cruz, but she gets to hear all the big bands and all these huge musicians that, that people can't get tickets to or pay a whole bunch of money to. And she's like, I'm just going to get a ticket miracle. And girlfriend, like she goes to 3, 4, 5 shows a week, and she's seen, you name the band, she has seen every headliner. And she gets in with her she gets VIP passes, she gets 2, 3 tickets, just walks right on in every time. She is a miracle ticket worker because she has decided I'm gonna get a ticket today, don't worry, I got 4 tickets. And all these other people are like, I paid whatever. Or she's like, oh, I only want to pay $25 for a ticket, for a $500 ticket. And she's like, oh, here you go. Here's a ticket for $25. Oh, and you're in the second row.
What?
So,
no.
But it's energy. And she has created such an energy vortex around miracle tickets that they literally kind of fall in her lap. Not only that, my sister has also never bought a car. And she's had 5 cars now. And every car she has gotten donated to her.
What?
So again,
I mean I'm over here. I'm talking about my
parking spots.
What are you talking about? I'm over here getting a spoon.
We got to think bigger. We have
to think bigger. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
But the point of all of this is it's a muscle. Our energy, when we begin to get in tune with how we feel. And so part of it is this. So a lot of times I'm talking to my patients, they'll come in and say, well, I have a pain in my neck, my stomach hurts. Okay, and this is a really hard concept that I'm going to talk about that people have to understand. Because they'll come in, well, I have a pain in my head and I have pain in my belly. But they are not embodied and in their body. They feel it, but they didn't notice how it came about. And so there's this disconnect between the pain and the body. And so why do I bring it up? Because energy is similar. We can have a disconnect from the energetic expression or feeling in our body. And this is why some of the practices, like in the book that you brought up, are really good because a lot of them are external. So they give you validation for you to get comfortable in building up the muscle. So like my sister, when she first started getting miracle tickets, they didn't just, immediately come. It was hit or miss. Now though, she's created this energetic vortex that it now magnetizes to her because she just attracts it now. So, and this is getting a little nebulous in my speaking. So let me try to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to hold that thought for a second because I need some water. And this is something that came to me in the past week. One of the things that I get accused of often is, Stephanie, you speak in a very esoteric way. Okay? So we're going to hold an esoteric thought, and then we're going to talk in what I call everyday language and layperson language. Okay? And I am going to go off on a tangent, but it does relate back to energy and why this matters. Okay?
Let's go.
I'm going to bring your thread back, okay? So we have this esoteric knowledge. So this is what came to me. Why is it that there's a certain disdain within our culture to esoteric knowledge? And this is what I came up with. Because if we all understood the esoteric knowledge, we would literally have the secret in order to run our lives and to live it in the best, highest version of ourselves. So what they've done is they have clouded the esoteric knowledge at this, I'm going to say, higher echelon area, okay,
Yeah.
or level. And they've only said that the spiritual elite should have it, okay?
Mhm.
Because
Separation.
what?
Mhm.
All of
It's
it, right?
separation.
The
Yeah.
separation. So because we no longer had access to this level, we learned to be disconnected from the energy within our body and our life source, okay? So I bring this up now because we are in an era and time of full disclosure of
Woo!
esoteric knowledge that is accessible for all people. Now, there are those, like, I feel like I've been on my esoteric journey my whole life. And that part of what I am here trying to help you understand is to have access to those nuggets. So
Mhm.
when you hear some of the information that we share and we talk about, don't get frustrated like, what the hell is she even talking about? I don't even get this, okay? Because it's not familiar and you're a beginner beginning to learn about this language that's always been there. So I want to encourage all of you to like really dig into that more esoteric knowledge, because that really is the true key to our health, our healing, and to the survival of our humanity.
Yeah.
Honestly. Okay, so we have this up here that's now coming down here. And now Jessica and I are over here talking about the energy and how does it show up within our bodies and what does that look like. So we have this whole, the beautiful part about where we exist right now is before, so Chinese medicine, we've been talking about energy for thousands of years, but so have other cultures as well. Multiple cultures have, but then it kind of went underground, and now that we're talking about it more, leading researchers are studying it and saying this exists. We have a biofield, we have a biomagnetic field, which we've known we have biomagnetic fields, but we never made the connection about the biomagnetic field from a human body, soul, conscious, emotional level. And I know, again, this is getting a little bit more esoteric and abstract, but I think it's important to have that broader understanding, because if you don't understand the basis of where it comes from and the historical perspective, then how can you begin to shift and begin to say, let me have a little bit more curiosity about that. Let me explore this a little bit more. Like our dear Jessica, she is the citizen scientist here and learning about things. But we have learned there is a resonance that comes out from folks. So think about, like, when you go and you meet people for the first time, you'll be like, oh, right? Like some people just go, oh. And most people
Mhm.
have like a very physical reaction. That is an energy incompatibility that's happening.
Yep.
Um, Two more things and then I'll let Jessica talk. So, one, I had a client once who had been dating this woman, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. He had gotten engaged to her, but he always noticed he constantly like had hiccups. He always had digestive issues around her. Finally, they ended up breaking up. They separated, and he was coming to see me and for his, ongoing hiccups and digestive issues. And I said, hey, I noticed you haven't been hiccuping. He's like, yeah, ever since, so-and-so moved out, I haven't been hiccuping. I was like, huh, interesting. So anyway, several months pass. He goes out on a date. And this woman's in front of him. He starts hiccuping. He comes in, he tells me. And I was like, that's your telltale sign that someone is not compatible with you. Because then he
What?
went out on another date and it was perfectly fine, no hiccups. He's like, I want to test this out. He's like, I want to pick some folks that I know are kind of wrong for me as a date, and we're just going to see. And he goes, every single one of them, I get hiccups and I have digestive things that happen. So that is an energetic, his body saying, woohoo! Why? Because in Chinese medicine, hiccups go through the digestive system, and our stomach is about, can I digest this experience? Can I digest this relationship? Is this energy digestible? Nope. I'm going to keep hiccuping. I'm going to
Wow.
push it back out. Okay, so that's one example. Another example is I have another regular client. I've been treating her almost 20 years now. She recently came in with some shoulder pain. Doesn't know if she slept wrong, what happened. It's not typical for her. And so anyway, I did a couple treatments on her. She also decided to go see her primary care doctor, who did some injections. It helped a little bit. And I just saw her literally today. This past weekend, she was at church, and she said, I typically don't do this, but they said, hey, we're doing our prayer request. Is there anyone in the congregation who would like us to pray for them? And she said, and I thought there, and I raised my hand, and she's like, I need someone to pray on my shoulder here, please. And she's like, we have about 400 people that go to their church regularly, which is huge. And so anyway, she said, I didn't think anything about it. And today is Tuesday. She said, and you know what? That pain is gone. So why do I bring that up? Because prayer is another source of energy. And when you have a lot of people with the same intention joining together to bring all that energy together, it has a powerful effect. And research shows time and time again, whether you call it prayer or meditation or a group consciousness, the words do not matter. When a group of collective people come together with a singular intention and focus on the healing, or sending prayer, love, light, healing, it magnifies, and it has a direct ripple effect out into the energetic being or network, matrix, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That is just crazy. I love those two stories. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Like what an amazing energetic connection, mind body, right? We started when you started talking just now. It's that it's like the detachment between the mind and the body. This esoteric wisdom, just so I can remember, because I know I had a bunch of points. I was writing stuff down. The esoteric wisdom, right, is like, this is ancient wisdom. It is literally across all cultures, all peoples, legitimately, and it continues. And this is where I feel, and especially you saying you've been studying it all your life. I mean, yes, 1,000%. As children, we don't even know that we're separated from it, right? We are so in it. We are so like, I don't feel good, and I'm going to tell you every little thing, or I feel so connected, or I feel so disconnected, or, all the different things. The kids, as a child, you feel all those. And as we get older in our Western society, these are first world country considered, right? I mean, in Europe, it's a little bit varied because they do keep a lot of the ancient wisdoms alive.
They do.
But for the most part, it is like, your doctor's the one that knows what's going on. You know nothing about your body. What? No, that's stupid. Oh, that's silly. Oh, that's not possible. You hear this. I mean, and as we began our conversations in this series, our words, our ancestors passing the stories down, and we can literally build on every episode we have done so far just through this chat, which is pretty awesome. So esoteric is, it's now, thankfully, because of the advances in technology and the way that we can speak and how our world turned global almost overnight, right? So now we can actually get validation. There are scientists that are legitimately curious in this woo-woo esoteric stuff. I really, and doing these researches, the way you were saying is your body's electrical field, or we could say, in the energy healing world, it's your aura, right? The different layers of your body. There are so many layers of our body that I had no idea about before I started studying this. So right now, science is picking up. They are picking that up. And I think that a lot of that has to do with a larger group of collective intention, curiosity, and interest in these types of healing modalities that it's bringing in our standard materialists or somebody who already has that spirit within, like none of this makes sense, but I love science, becomes a scientist and then is able to combine the two, right? Which is just like, yay, dream come true. What was the other thing you were talking about? We went with esoteric, and then your awesome stories about your clients. That's so cool. That is so cool.
But I think that's such great examples of just how we often don't think about our interactions from an energetic standpoint, right? We think about it as either, oh, I just don't like them. Oh, that's off. We really personalize it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a different way of thinking and processing. And it's not about like, dislike. It's just like, oh. So one of the things that I've also observed in my life, there are different folks that when I first meet them, I'm like, whoa, like they kind of rub me a little, like they put me a little bit on edge. And I have through the years actually leaned in to those relationships and to those pieces. I know that there's some edge there, but what's that edge and what's my growth opportunity here? Like, let me see if I can figure out, like, can I smooth the edge out? And sometimes no, but sometimes I've been able to smooth out the edge. And typically I find the folks that I have a little bit more edge with when I first meet them, and we'll go into this in another conversation about, we had a contract before we came here. Right, but we're going to talk about that again another time.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time for that today. We're coming back here. But I find that like they were meant to be there for me to learn an edge, to evolve and to grow, and then that relationship dissolves and moves on. So often those edgier like interactions aren't necessarily meant to be a long-term like friend. Like, and I have friends that are my long-term friends, right, that I've had since childhood and college and my 20s, etc., that we've gone through generations. But then you have these other colleagues, acquaintances that you meet for a season or a moment, and some people you're like, I just know I need to keep my distance with this person. This person, and maybe it's just me, but I'm like, nope, I should not share anything personal here. Oh, we're going to keep this purely surface here in this relationship. We're not going deep, and we're not sharing anything personal here. And others, I'm like, oh my God, I could bear my whole life soul with you, right? So beginning to notice that, as opposed to just saying, whatever. And knowing that is, hopefully you're getting the sense like this is how we begin to notice energy. And if you begin to notice, especially I feel like in certain ways, like what Pam has done in her book with the different experiments are great from an external point of view in terms of like how to see what energy is and how it shows up. But then in our interpersonal relationships, beginning to notice, oh, I never thought about this. Every time I respond this way, they respond that way. What if I respond different? What's going to show up? So this is the thing. You can't change somebody else, but you can change your response and your energy that you give to that situation or that person. And when you change your response, it changes the situation. Maybe not immediately, but over time, you consistently do it, it will shift.
I 100% agree. I really do. I have a question on your opinion, or maybe, who knows? I don't know that these are facts in general. Let's be fair. But what do you think came first? Awareness or curiosity? Do we have to be aware?
Not necessarily.
And then get curious?
I don't know. I think it's like the
or is it
chicken
noticing?
and the egg. It's the same question.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. I think sometimes, I don't know, in certain ways I feel like there's like a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of spark, like, oh, I never thought about that. So like an example, with my clients, one of the things that they often tell me, like the greatest gift that they appreciate about me is that when they share, I can see things from different perspectives and give a different perspective. And one of the things that come back, they're like, huh, I never thought about it that way. Wow, that's such a much more expansive and bigger way to look at it. So now I've sparked curiosity in them. So perhaps that curiosity now has created some sort of an awareness that leads them down a path that then they get more curious and then explore more.
Right.
Right?
I like that.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That does. I mean, there's always kind of like the question, right? I guess you have to start with the question. Why am I always tired? Right?
right. Like, where does that come from? And I think when you ask
Yeah.
the question, like, where does that come from? That's more like that question to me is more curious, not like an awareness. Or, I mean, you could be like, oh, I notice every time, I don't know, I walk up the hill, I'm breathless. Well, that's an awareness,
Yeah.
right? Like, I now am
Totally.
aware that whatever. Or when I run, my right foot hurts every time that I run on this trail, but not on the road. So that's an awareness. So it could be both, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes it
yeah.
starts with an awareness to create a curiosity to ask more. Sometimes it's, oh, I'm tired. Why am I always tired? Where does that come from? That's more of a
Yeah.
curiosity point of view. So I think both can coexist.
Yeah,
It's,
that makes sense.
you
I think
know,
it's situational. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
I
That
think
makes,
it's
yeah.
just, and the truth is, it doesn't matter. To me, it's
Yeah,
like whether you all of a sudden have an awareness, then go explore it more. Oh, have a curiosity? Well, then it also leads, same word, go explore more,
that's true.
go
You
learn
know, I
more.
have this, absolutely. I have this, I think it was it? I don't know who it was, but it was one of these spiritual or, writers, the mystical writers or people that are trying to get you to be more aware, essentially, that said, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but it's sticking out now that it's like, here is an excellent, easy, simple exercise to try out in your daily life to help you, like you were saying earlier with your sister's ticket vortex,
Yep.
for you to start to open up your awareness to anything. And that's the whole point, is to not there's no goal. The only goal is anytime, because we are routine people, we go the same streets, we know how to do this, we do that, is within your daily routine. Say for 4 hours of your day in this four chunk, however that is, how you move around in your life, to your challenge is to notice five, 3 to 5 new things that you have never seen before, that you have never recognized before. And I read that and I was like, I like that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I am quite in tune. I'll notice when this flower wasn't there before, or somebody put a tree in. Oh, yay. Like I know that type of awareness. But I took that as like, oh, okay, challenge accepted. And again, do not hold yourself to some sort of, I need to get an A here. Okay. I am
Right.
one of those people. I'm speaking more to myself. You don't get to win. The only point here is to be like, did I notice something new? Did I take that moment to just open my eyes and say, oh, yeah, I want to try that out, like energetic, and to be aware, maybe perhaps of your internal system when you recognize, oh, I need to do that. Is that an excited feeling? Is that energy, right? Like, is the energy lifting, or is the energy, sinking? Like, oh, don't give me another task to do, which in that case, don't freaking do it. For sure not. That's a simple one. Another thing that I'd love to reference, I'm sure a lot of people know about it, but maybe not. But to check out, if you're curious, about energy and how it works, and most especially with groups and things and current science studies, is to check out the HeartMath Institute
Yeah.
website. I think it's heartmathinstitute.org. But it is an incredible, incredible resource for all different kinds of really cool science, like real life current stuff that they are currently. You can even join a study. Who knows, right? Because a lot of the stuff's free, or you can be like, hey, we're going to do this global meditation to send love to the earth, to help the earth heal. Like, I am going to sign up for that every single time. I sit here in my room or out on the grass, and I'm going to be there for that time chunk. And that, whether or not, and here's, I think before we close, I think this is probably a good closing here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that whether the point being, and what we're bringing, first of all, we're bringing awareness of how we understand things. But secondly, we are not trying to sell you on whether or not this is real. Like, I could care less. I literally don't care at all. But if you are curious, this is what it's about, because energy does not need you to believe in it. And I love that about it. I can be an honest to God skeptic, because the definition of a skeptic is to have an open mind and to reserve judgment of an outcome or of the process itself. We do not judge. So this is it. It's like, hey, check this out. Here's an awesome resource. I'm sure there are bajillions others, but only because I feel like I was called to bring this out today, this is why this is here. And secondly, is like, prove it to yourself or don't. But I can tell you, I'm living my best life because I know that I am empowered to be able to change my current feeling if it is not the way I wished. Right?
So as we come to a close, I'm going to offer two other things that we talked about just to bring it up. Now I just blanked.
That's why I'm writing it down when I think of those things.
I didn't break down paper today. The one note I want to say is this. Oh, I remember. Okay. So the first one is, if you're in a situation where it just feels funky, and you feel like you're just feeling overwhelmed, drained, tired, anything like that, message received. You can go return to sender. People be like, what you doing? Return it back. Or you can think it and send that energy back. I always send it back with love because I want to send more love out into the world. And I want no harm to come to other people. But whatever energy they're sending, just return it back to them. They can absorb that back. And sometimes I can be repeating that about 100 times over and over because I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. We're sending this stuff back. So that's a really quick, easy one to do. So message received, return to sender with love. And then the second one, this is something I like to do sometimes for myself when I am looking for guidance. I'm looking for confirmation of things that I want to happen. But that's not going to be the purpose necessarily of this little homework that we're going to challenge you to do. This is, again, it ties into what Jessica was saying. This is about beginning to have an awareness. So I like to pick things that are out of the ordinary. So what I want you to do for the next 24 hours, I want you to look and see, for the next 24 hours, you're going to see flamingos everywhere. You're going to see flamingos outside. You're going to see someone's going to talk about flamingos. They're going to pop up on your phone, flamingos. It's going to come across in a word. It doesn't have to be a literal flamingo. It can be a visual flamingo. But flamingos are just going to come in different ways all over. Someone's house is going to get flocked for their 50th birthday with their flamingos, okay? So the next 24 hours, after you watch this video, I want you to report how many flamingos you saw, okay? Because that's not, at least where I am, it's not a regular occurrence. And if it's a regular occurrence for where you are, that's fine, whatever. Then pick something else. Pick an elephant, pick a dragonfly, whatever. But I'm picking a flamingo for you guys today. And then report below. And then also, more importantly, go ahead and click that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and press subscribe. And hopefully today we've given you something to think about, to see what sits with you, see what resonates, see if it sparked something in you, something that you didn't know that you needed to awaken within you. So until next time.
Until next time, that's exactly it. We hope that you continue to stay curious about your own personal awareness. And we want to say once again, thank you so much for checking or spending this time with us here on Soul Talk. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.